trust. See, there's like one big trust ball. You can grab some water while it's on. Do you want one?
There's one down there for you.
Doors are now closing.
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be back with all of you here this evening. I'm Dan, the co-founder and CEO of ChaiTech. Really excited to be here with Chris Carter. Chris, thank you for being here with us.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Carter. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Schulich School of Business at York University.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
We're so thrilled to be here with all of you. This is meant to be a celebration. It's not just startup pitch night. We wanted to bring everyone together to celebrate the progress, the innovation, the community, the camaraderie that we've seen firsthand across 3 cohorts and 130 founders who have successfully finished our program. And a big thank you to you, Chris, for being the first person to believe in this idea. I remember coming to you 2 years ago and saying, I want to build a program for the Jewish community to teach everybody on how to build a startup. And it was really amazing because I learned so much from you over the past 7 years in terms of how to show up, how to build a business, and how to take it to new heights. And I really think we've been able to achieve that through amazing peers, mentors, and professionals. So a big thank you. Just want to Chris. And to our partners at the JCC. Andrew will be up here shortly. So welcome, and thank you for being here with us.
Hey Dan, I've learned a lot from you too. And it's been great spending a lot of time here at the JCC with Andrew and David Brinder, who can't be here tonight, but learning a lot. And you've really wanted to bring people together and have people learn to be together in a different way in community. And I wanted to start off by telling you one tiny little story, which is that last night, last year in the summer program, my daughter Olivia came and she had to sit in on some events. She got to know those great tuna melts that she loves here at the JCC.
Shout out to Eisenberg's.
And last night she went to the book fair at school and she came home and she showed me the book that she wanted to read and she bought with her own money. And the book was called A Hidden Girl, A True Story of the Holocaust. And we sat and we read that together and she wants to read it every night this week and talk about it. Those are the magic moments of coming together and finding a different way to be in community and to learn. And I want to thank you for helping to make that happen for so many of us, including my daughter.
Thank you. It definitely takes a village or a kibbutz. And my daughter Olivia and Emma and Sophie are watching online. So maybe our Olivias and their siblings can come and join us. I can envision a ChaiTech OJSN row of children. Next gen, we should do that.
Yeah,
we'll put on the ideas board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, as we get started, we're going to start by acknowledging the land, doing the land acknowledgement. We recognize that many indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which we are located that precede the establishment of York University, the JCC. We acknowledge the presence on the traditional territory of many indigenous nations. The area known as Tekaronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject to the Dish with One Spoon, Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. And with that, Dan, we are ready to go.
We're off.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So first up, we're going to just give a shout out and say we're really excited tonight. We're here for the showcase and for the competition, but we also have an amazing keynote speaker that we'll be seeing from later on and meeting, Edward Kolodenko, the president and CEO of Questrade. So let's just have a greeting for him and say welcome. And we also want to acknowledge our special guests that are here with us this evening that have taken the time to be here with us. And that includes the Minister, Solicitor General of the Government of Ontario, Michael Kersner, MPP Michelle Cooper. Congratulations on her recent victory.
Yep, and MPP Laura Smith. Yep. We're happy to have you here, Laura.
Yep, and also we have Susanna Gajcek-Bruea, Vice President of Advancement from York University, and I have to be on my best behavior because there are not one but two associate deans who are here tonight. In Eileen Fisher, the Associate Dean of Research at the Schulich School of Business, and Ashwin Joshi, the Associate Dean of Programs at Schulich as well too. And Dan, we also have some special thanks.
So an awesome part of our program is that we encourage and train the entrepreneurs to pitch their businesses. And they're surrounded by such incredible instructors and EIRs, which you'll learn a bit about. But we also have some very busy and very caring VCs who come in and judge the pitch competition. It was very competitive. You'll see 5 of our finalists on the stage tonight, but a big round of applause to everyone on the screen. It's been really amazing having them involved, so thank you. So I can't name everybody. You can try to read it. But a big thank you to each and every one of our participants in Cohort 3 to dedicate 8 weeks, about roughly 10 hours, I'm rounding up, but 10 intense hours learning how to be a better founder, how to be a better leader, how to be a better CEO, how to be a better member of our community and get more engaged. We really try to provide the most holistic entrepreneurial program that's available across Ontario, if not Canada. And there's so much that we can learn from one another. And to see the friendships that have been created in this program, building a business can be a pretty lonely endeavor. Being Jewish these days can be pretty challenging in itself. So when we bring together all these amazing Jewish entrepreneurs and their co-founders, it really was magical. So I just want to congratulate everybody. You meet them all outside, many of you already have, but really, kol hakavod to all of you, and thank you for being part of cohort number 3. Congratulations. I might be biased, but I also think we have the best faculty, accelerator faculty in the province, if not country. These friendly faces that you see up here have collaborated, mentored, either myself or our colleagues. They're actively part of Chris's Schulich Venture Academy. They really leaned in and they brought their expertise, which are vast, and they really leaned in to teach our founders everything that they know on a wide range of topics on, again, founder health and resilience and leadership, to team building, culture building, and then the almost endless amount of topics that founders ultimately need to be good at, but at least aware of. Everything from storytelling to go-to-market and sales to fundraising and finance, to startup law, hi Alan, and many, many others. So really just thank you to everyone who's here on stage and up here on the screen rather, and everyone in the audience for encouraging and teaching them. So thank you for your time and your talent and leading into the ChaiTech Accelerator. So you can take my word for it that it's an incredible program, but let's hear from some of our founders and instructors.
And I think as a founder and now as an investor, as a VC, I think there's an obligation for me to participate in the community.
I truly believe in the power of accelerators and specifically learning together.
The accelerator programs that I participated in were a huge driver of my success.
And I love working with growing businesses who are striving to make the world a better place.
I'm Jewish, I'm an immigrant to Canada. We have to do better. I'm going to make a contribution to the startup network in Canada.
Wow, what a great opportunity it was to come in and hang out with everyone from ChaiTech today. Great founders, great stories, big adventures lie ahead. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Thank you so much, ChaiTech, for having me as a mentor today. I really enjoyed this experience and seeing this next generation of entrepreneurs.
If you understand this, you could have a really much more productive conversation with VCs in terms of success looks like, what expectations are.
And I'm so excited to scale and grow Shutterbee with all of the knowledge that I've just taken through from ChaiTech.
ChaiTech has been an amazing program, from the commitment of the program itself to our success.
I have been thrilled to be asked to participate as an instructor and mentor and sponsor of ChaiTech. It's been a wonderful experience giving back to Jewish founders and entrepreneurs.
We invite Jewish founders in Ontario and their co-founders to apply to join our program, and we hope to welcome you to the ChaiTech Accelerator family.
Thank you, Shutterbee.
So next up, Dan, let's tell people how they can stay connected to us.
So we're pretty active on social media. Shout out to Venus, who's on our team. And we really welcome everybody to not only follow us and engage with our content, but we encourage all of you tonight to open up your phones, snap a great photo of a founder, an investor on stage. Maybe it's the fireside, maybe it's Chris. Whatever your favorite moment is, we encourage you to put it on social media, hashtag accordingly, and if you can flip the slide, we want to be able to gift the first 50 people that post and tag ChaiTech and Ontario Jewish Startup Network with one of two amazing books written by our instructors and friends, David Premier and Stephen Chudletsky.
So let's just leave that up just for a moment and let it linger and take your photos.
Maybe we should smile.
That's pretty good. All right, and now for another smiling face who we love around the JCC, we're going to welcome up the CEO of the JCC, Andrew Levy, a key fundamental member in the partnership that we have as part of the Ontario Jewish Startup Network. Andrew.
Thanks, guys. Anyone watch The Muppet Show? Because you guys are starting to remind me of those two old guys on the balcony. I don't know. I've seen this so many times. It's like so interesting to me. So first of all, I don't know what's better, that we filled the room or we filled the parking lot. I've got staff on call right now talking to people about valet parking just because they can't get into the building. So this is just awesome. I'm here to welcome you to the Prosperman JCC. I want to start with some real gratitude. It's a privilege for me to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate the possibilities, purpose, and bold spirit of innovation that lives at the heart of the Jewish community. And this couldn't happen if it wasn't for three very unique organizations, institutions coming together in partnership. And that is the beauty for me of this entire program. It really helps us anchor the JCC's vision to be the center of a thriving Jewish community. So really, I'm up here tonight to express my gratitude to the Shula School of Business and Chris for their partnership, their allyship, and their understanding of how important it is to do this within the community, to Dan for his incredible vision, his relentless passion. Dan doesn't take no from anyone. I've learned that, even me. So it's just been a really great ride to be up here and really work with everyone to see how we can bring some new ideas into the community. So for those that don't know the JCC, we engage close to 40,000 people a year between the Prosperman JCC and Schwartz Reisman Center. We do so through social, educational, recreational, cultural programs, and now I'd like to say entrepreneurial programs. And we're really about shared experiences. So this is fantastic for me. But just to give you a sense of who we are and what we do, about 70% of the people that we engage come from the greatest cross-section of Jewish life in the community, which makes the JCC the largest platform for Jewish engagement in our community. And 30% of the people we engage come from the broader community, which uniquely positions the JCC as the largest Jewish platform for connection and allyship with the broader community. So we're in this really important time. And we're in this time where the anti-Semitism, the rising anti-Semitism of the past 18 months has been very challenging for Jewish communities around the world. And I would tell you that if you asked me 2, 3, 4 years ago, what was our biggest challenge, it was really apathy. Now what we're seeing is a real surge in interest in engagement. And we see the JCC as the place to, or as the antidote to combating anti-Semitism. So I'm going to do a quick plug. If you don't mind, on April 1st, at the Prosperman JCC, we're going to be having an exclusive screening of the October 8th film. You should bring your daughter, actually. It's the eruption of anti-Semitism on college campuses, social media, and the streets of America. The tickets are already on sale at the prospermanjcc.com/events page. Highly encourage you to join us. As we talk about shared experiences, this is a really meaningful, powerful one that I would encourage everyone to participate in. Two last quick things. One, to our partners in the Ontario government, Minister Piccini, Solicitor General Kersner. I mean, we've got real advocates that are out there helping this program thrive, so I want to thank you for that. And just lastly, I don't get to the benefit of this every Wednesday because I typically am at my other office, the Shorts Reisman Center on Wednesday, so I need to shift some things around. But when I'm here on Wednesdays, it is just unbelievable to see the work that you do with ChaiTech, because it is not just what's going on in the room. The energy and passion in the whole building completely changes with all of you in the space. So we're just grateful to have you here. We're grateful to be partners in this, and just want to enjoy the showcase tonight. So thank you all for being here, and looking forward to seeing the presentations.
So as I mentioned earlier, people learn in different ways. Some people learn well from professionals, in our case, CMOs, chief marketing officers, chief financial officers, accountants, lawyers. But sometimes you need to learn from people who have actually been in your shoes at one point and learn the lessons themselves. And we very much believe that through a shared learning environment, we can really uplift each other, we can help each other accelerate, and we can help each other really lean into our community and into our businesses. And it really does take a village. So when Marie Chevrolet-Schwartz, who's a really valuable member of our team, an accomplished entrepreneur herself, and now the CEO of TechTO, said, let's create an EAR program, which she led herself for the first several months. But like anyone, you only have so many hours in the day. And she brought on more than 20 incredible entrepreneurs and residents who have all been up the hill and also down in the valley, who they could really speak to exactly what it takes to build a thriving, successful, in some cases global, technology company. So really thank you to Marie, who unfortunately couldn't be here with us this evening. She's under the weather, but congratulations to her and all the 20 plus EIRs on the screen. Thank you, everyone.
All right, who's ready to see some pitches? Woo! Okay, I'm going to invite the people with the really challenging task of figuring out who's going to win tonight to the stage. First up, we have Talia Abramowitz, Managing Partner from Deloitte Ventures. Woo! We have Neil Grunberg, Managing Partner from Storytime Capital. And we have David Kamenetsky, Principal from the Leaders Fund. So in terms of what's going to happen here now tonight, each of the companies is going to have 5 minutes to pitch. They're going to have 4 minutes of questions. The judges have been pre-assigned as the lead judge on each startup, and they'll get the chance for the first question. Just so you understand what's gone on behind the scenes, the judges have a scoring matrix. The startups all prepared based on that matrix, and the judges had the access to their presentations ahead of time to prepare themselves and to get their questions ready and to reflect. Now just before we start, there's one thing we have to practice. And how many people, it's hard for me to see out into the glare of the sun, but how many people, hands up, have been to a showcase before here? Okay, so a good amount. So you already know what I'm about to tell you, which is that you are responsible for helping me to stop some people from talking sometimes. Right? And so it's the same thing that I do in terms of, as I've told you before, in my classes when we have presentations, and I want a loving way to tell people that they need to stop talking, which is I will slowly, silently start to do this. And so if you see this happening, and as it speeds up and it goes, and then everyone feels happy about being told to be a little bit quiet when they're getting applauded. So be ready for that moment. If we need it, maybe we won't need it tonight, and that'll be good. All right, first up, we have our first pitch of the night. And I will welcome Daphna from Orca DX to the stage.
Imagine you're driving a car. You're at the wheel, the road is open, the sun is shining, it's a beautiful day, you're just enjoying your ride. When suddenly you hear a weird noise from the engine and something with the wheel feels kind of off, and is there something happening in the back? And then you realize you don't have a fuel gauge. You don't know how long this car will go. Will it be 1 kilometer, 5, maybe 50? This is how it feels to be a woman going through menopause. The fuel, this is estrogen. You know it's going to decline, but when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, did it already start? Hi, I'm Daphne Mokadi. I'm founder and CEO of Orca Diagnostics, and we're developing the fuel gauge for menopause. Today, it's really difficult to know when a woman is entering this phase of her life. It's really tricky, especially in the early stages. And I know, because I went to my family doctor and I said, hey, I think I'm in perimenopause. And she said, you know what? I think you're right, but all your tests come back normal, so I cannot give you the treatment that you need. I'm sure many of you here know what I'm talking about. And why is it so critical that we get the treatment on time? Because if we don't, there are two issues. First, we have declined well-being. There are over 50 symptoms associated with menopause and perimenopause. 1 in 10 Canadian women exits the workforce because of menopause. The second thing is that we're missing an opportunity to slow down our aging. We asked almost 100 women, do you want the test for perimenopause? And 89% of them said, yes, please give us the test. Half of those, regardless of cost. So let's give them the test. Orca AI is a diagnostic platform that detects key biomarkers of perimenopause. How do we do that? We have access to big sets of medical data, and we analyze them with AI and machine learning tools to detect patterns and changes that are happening in all our tissues. The menopause market is booming right now. We are already today at over $6 billion in the US alone. Out of the 6.5 in North America, 70% is for perimenopause products like Orca, and 15% of that is a really good market opportunity. Our business model is twofold. First, we're going to go to these women who said, yes, we want the test, and we're willing to pay out of pocket. Don't forget, these are women in their prime, the peak of their career. They have money, and they already spend a lot of money on wellness and health products. It's going to be a test and an app that we're going to offer subscriptions for. The second tier is going to be business partners. So things like telehealth, community clinics, employer benefits. They're all looking for tests, just like Orca, to integrate into their services. The competitive landscape at the moment is like this. If you don't really mind about accuracy and you want just something with low accuracy, plenty of options. There are apps, self-reporting apps, you can do urine and saliva tests and so on. But if you want high accuracy, what you need to do is do a blood work to test to measure the hormone level in your blood. And you need to do this repeatedly, sometimes over a month. Orca is developing a one-time test with high accuracy. This is our 2-year plan. We're now working to demonstrate the proof of concept, and the MVP will be ready by the end of the year, and from there, all the way to clinical validation. We're working closely with regulatory affairs experts, and you can see the IP strategy on the bottom. I'm the founder of Orca. I have a PhD in life sciences, and in 1 month I'm completing my MBA. I have almost a decade of experience in biotech leadership as the chief scientific officer. I've raised capital. We raised almost 40 million. I've built teams. I've built pipelines. I've done this before, and I'm doing the same with Orca. I also developed a global network here in Europe and back home in Israel. And this is also how I found Maria, the data scientist that I'm working with. We're working together to show the proof of concept. I've highlighted also a few mentors and advisors. Why Orca? Because not many species go through menopause, but big whales do. And the Orca female, as she goes through the menopause, then she becomes the leader of the pod. Thank you very much.
All right. David, you're up first.
does your pricing compare to existing direct-to-consumer tests and lab options as well?
So the awareness these days of women towards this menopause and perimenopause transition is just increasing by the minute. And women are looking for anything that will give them some relief. If I'm looking at competitors that are measured, usually they're measuring hormones, which is not something that we do. The price goes up to $400 US for a hormone test. We are not developing a test for hormones, and I'll tell you why. Because especially in the early stages, the hormones, they fluctuate like crazy. So if a woman does a test today, tomorrow, or next week, she'll get completely different results. What we're doing is looking for the downstream effects of these hormonal fluctuations. So we're going to be the A1C test of menopause. If you know, in the past, if you wanted to do you wanted to know the level of sugar in your blood, you would do a sugar test, right? And it really depends on what you ate, when you ate, etc. But now you can do a one-time test. It's called hemoglobin A1C, and that averages the past 3 months. And this is what we're doing for the hormones. This is what we're doing from perimenopause.
And how do you plan to retain customers after the initial test?
That's a really good question. So actually, perimenopause can start up to 14 years before menopause. So menopause, that's easy. We know when it happens, right? But it's the perimenopause that is tricky. So let's say a woman, she has a little bit of symptoms. The symptoms are overlapping with a lot of other conditions. So she can do the test once a year, and then she can follow her progression through the transition of the menopause.
Great presentation. Great presentation. Hello? Great presentation, thanks. I think it's awesome, and I think it's amazing when you're doing something impactful as well as hopefully profitable. Two questions sort of tied together. One, I think competitive and pricing is great, but one thing I didn't see and I'd love to understand is how are you going to get the customer? You know, I'm in my late 40s, so I know a lot of women that are in your target market. Live with one, but how would she know about? I'm not saying she's. You talked about. Just saying. How can I get her to this test? Like, where can I buy her? But how could the market get this? And then the more important question, like in all seriousness, you talked at the very beginning about doctors not prescribing medication. How does this test give the doctor what he or she needs to be like, yep, here you go. This will make your life and your family's life even easier.
Let's start with the first question. I'll tell you a story. A couple of months ago, there was a menopause show here in Toronto in the Metro Convention Center. 3,000 women went there. And there were 50 booths of different companies, and they were just looking for some kind of relief to what they're experiencing and some kind of acknowledgement that this is real. You're not going crazy. This is actually what you're going through. So I think the need is there, and women are actually actively seeking solutions. And I'll tell you one more thing, they don't want the fluff. There's a lot of fluff in the space, right? And they don't want that. They're tired of that. They don't want just eat healthier and just be active. No, they want really the science-based solutions that we're going to offer them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't get to ask anything? It's over? That's it? All right, next up.
Now welcome Dan to come back up on stage and with a special presentation. We'll have small little micro interviews or presentations while our judges are recording their scores. Dan.
There's so much that we can learn from each other. A lot of the founders that have been a part of our program come in with such incredible expertise. Some are marketing experts, some are technical experts, some are sales experts. That's how I knew this founder, as a sales expert and a fellow alumni of the Schulich School of Business. And when he shared his initial idea and joined our program, I knew he was in the right place. And I knew not only was he going to be an amazing founder and participant in our program, but his peers were going to learn so much from him. And a big part of it in the program is to not only have participants go through the program itself, but to ultimately come back and teach or mentor. And that's exactly what this founder did. He came back and ran an amazing panel educating the next cohort in terms of what the experience was going to be about, what he's learned in his journey as a founder, and how to show up and get the most out of it. And it was really amazing to see that transformation. And so we really want to encourage that in the program, where the student becomes the teacher as quickly as possible, because again, we have so much that we can learn from each other. So I'm really proud to introduce our new award. It is our one-year anniversary at the end of the day. So we want to be able to acknowledge community leaders in our midst. So the ChaiTech Accelerator Community Leader of the Year award goes to our friend Josh Gutman. Congratulations. I know. Want to say something?
Sure. I'll say something quickly. Thank you. Thank you. Well, first, very unexpected. A little bit verklempt. I don't know. Yeah, a little emotional. You got me. I gained so much from going through the first cohort. Like when Dan originally reached out to me about potentially being a mentor, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about starting the startup. Maybe I can be in it. And from day one through the end of the very first cohort, everything changed. And listen, I'm still early days in my founder journey, but I can, if you think about the word accelerator, I can say wholeheartedly that everything that I went about doing accelerated so quickly. And I met so many great folks, some of the judges, reconnected with so many amazing folks. And I'm just so grateful for this experience, and giving back it just felt right. And so thank you so much. And to everybody who's here, this is such an amazing program. It's unbelievable to see everybody out here and how big it's been getting. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, judges, hope you're ready to roll with the next pitch. Pitch number 2. Next up, we have Brandon Richmond from Wago.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandon Richmond. I'm one of the co-founders of Wago, and we're a platform that creates digital interactive maps for any type of event, trade show, festival, and more. I want you all to meet Richard. He's the CEO of a company called Frontline Genomics. Every year, Richard has over 200 exhibitors and thousands of attendees at his event. Richard spent $5,000 on paper maps last year, but over the weeks leading up to the event, the floor plan changed. So much so that when that event actually rolled around, every single one of those paper maps was outdated and obsolete. Richard's not alone, because 75% of events are still using paper maps for their events. They're spending on average $4,000 on printing these maps, and 100% of the maps are getting wasted, either immediately or directly after the show. For the other 25% that have adopted a mobile solution, they're falling short. They're either non-interactive PDFs that don't help attendees navigate or explore, or they have extremely confusing UIs, making them suboptimal tools for organizers to plan and attendees to use. So, we built the perfect mapping platform for attendees and organizers alike. You can search anything, specifically or categorically, whether it's a booth, a meeting room, or even a washroom. You can also explore the entire event knowledge base through informative panels from speakers, sessions, and even the theaters that they're at. And finally, you can navigate from any point of interest to any other on the map with ease. Our map creation process is also made very easy for organizers. All we require from them is a PDF of their floor plan, as well as the event content in a CSV or Excel, and we have a 1-week turnaround time for our maps, along with automatic content updates. So if you are like Richard, you can keep that smile on your face knowing your event maps will always be up to date. Our maps can be embedded into any app, any website, We have QR code functionality, and we partner with kiosk providers in the United States and the UK to provide full hardware and software solutions for our events. Our pricing model can be broken down into two distinct revenue streams. We have a floor plan processing fee, which is a large upfront cost for the map creation, as well as a monthly active map fee paid over the duration of that subscription. For example, a 200,000 square foot map with 3 months active is right around $3,000. And because we work internationally, all of our pricing and revenue is in USD. In order to validate our product, we needed to bring it into the event industry. So events for events, that's what we call them. And the reason we're doing that is because this is where all of our potential customers are actually attendees. So what we did is we went to 7 internationally in 6 months. We then took it one step further and actually worked with these huge events for events so that we could turn these potential customers into organic users of our maps. And our strategy is working. We currently have a run rate of 11 events per month, broken down into about a dozen individual contracts with events, as well as 2 large reselling models. The first with a US-based company that works with the likes of the Super Bowl and the PGA Tour for 50 to 100 maps, and the second is with one of the largest Korean event management platforms for 40 maps. Altogether, we're looking at a projected revenue of $250,000 for this year. And we've achieved global traction at our MVP, building maps in Spain, the US, the UK, Korea, and even Mexico. We're constantly reinvesting into our into our company through platform development and marketing. We're first working on a pre-event booth reservation process, as well as a post-event data analytics portion, so that we can increase the longevity of our maps, as well as customer retention year over year. We're working on fully automating our map creation process into a full self-service product, and we're going to continue expanding our market within the event industry and beyond to industries all around the world. We're currently raising a $1 million seed round to help accelerate this roadmap, driving our growth, increasing revenue, and positioning us for this scalability. Finally, we're uniquely positioned to be the perfect team to solve this problem because, like I mentioned before, in our MVP and validation process, we immersed ourselves into the event space. We actually firsthand felt all of the pain points that we're now solving, and we spoke with hundreds and hundreds of different stakeholders that are begging us to release this product. So on behalf of myself, my co-founder Matthew Eisen, who leads our talented developer team, we are changing the event space for the better. Thank you.
Perfectly timed. You were 1 second away from being.
That's how I try.
Clap off. Super curious to interesting space for sure. Crowded space, but what made you two want to do this in this space?
It's actually really interesting. It started not in this space. It started with the idea that, back when I was younger, I actually worked at Walmart. And every single day, I would have people coming up to me and saying, where's this, where's that? And as a minimum wage employee at Walmart, I will say I did not know where anything was. So what ended up happening is I would actually come back from a long shift and I would complain to my co-founder Matthew, who's also my neighbor, and I would say, nobody has any idea where they're going inside ever. How is there no Google Maps for inside? And with his brain, one day he came back to me and he said, hey, wait, we can maybe do this. And so after a larger industry search, we decided that where we were going to fit, at least with our MVP, was in the event space, and that's when we started.
Thanks.
I love this. So I work downtown and I get lost in the path all the time. So I recommend that you guys
get asked
make
a
one
lot
of these
for
the path. I just follow my husband around, have no idea where we are half the time. But
Yeah.
anyways, thinking about events and a lot of them being one time in nature, like what will that do to your margin if the customer doesn't sign up to the subscription? So keeping it live.
Yeah, so the active map subscription, I explained, we are actually trying to increase that longevity on a single event basis with that pre-reservation booking process, because that's 12 months prior to the event that they start that. So that's going to help with the individual events, but also what we're doing, which we found a lot of success in, is our reseller model. So we're actually working with some of the largest event management platforms and event contractors who have 300, 400, or 500, even 1,000 events a year, right? And then we sell to them to then resell to these as part of their offering.
Yeah, if I could add, this isn't working, but just to add on to that, the event industry has a stickiness problem because events change what software they use all the time. So by not selling to the events directly, but by selling to event suppliers, so this company, they make interactive touch screens for events. They embed our maps into their touch screens, and they do consistently 1,000 events a year. So by removing ourselves one level from selling directly to the events, we have consistent revenue because these we tap into their existing events that they already do.
I also wanted to add quickly that this is just vertically in the event space, and we also have other opportunities in other industries that we can try as well that have that longer longevity, like a mall, arena, hospitals, things like that.
Perfect, thanks.
Are the event organizers thinking about this every day? Like, is it a top 5 concern for them?
Yeah.
And is the $4,000 cost a significant thing for
If
them?
I go to the timeline, so right now, kind of hard to see, but right now we are in this green range. If this is the timeline of an event, this is an entire year. At every single point, this is a pain point where they need maps to solve it. So in the sales period, there's missed bookings, there's double bookings, they're losing exhibitors, and it's increased manual work for all of these salespeople because they're sending around the same PDF, they're just drawing X's on the different squares. When it gets to the event setup, there's all these contractors that flood into a huge room trying to build booths and things like that. They have no idea where anything is. We're right now focusing on that, event, pre-event and event engagement, and then afterward, the post-event analytics, which we can provide back to them. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, going to welcome Dan back up to do a quick intro to a special video message while the judges do their thing.
So about a year ago, I decided to hop in my car and go to Niagara Falls and attend the PC convention, where I got to hang out with Michael and other MPPs and ministers. And one of the ministers who I hadn't known, but really admired, was Minister Piccini. He really shared his vision for a more united, more productive workforce, unions, and province. And as I started to share with him this idea of the ChaiTech Accelerator and the Ontario Jewish Startup Network, not only was he inspired, but he was motivated to act, and ultimately we're here today because of him, because of Minister Kersner and their colleagues. So unfortunately, Minister Piccini was not able to join us, but he took the time today to share welcome remarks for all of you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm thrilled to join you, and I'm so sorry I can't be there in person. I hope to make it to the next one, but I'm excited to join you virtually for ChaiTech Startup Showcase. What an incredible milestone this is for the Ontario Jewish Startup Network and ChaiTech. Tonight's event is a celebration of bold ideas, thriving innovation, and a community that is always pushing forward. And you have the incredible support of incredible members like Minister Michael Kersner, Michelle Cooper, Laura Smith, and so many others. We're all behind you. And I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our friend Daniel Warner and the ChaiTech team and everyone here tonight for your unwavering commitment to entrepreneurship. Thank you as well to the incredible founders. Your ambition and passion are shaping the future of our province. It's been an honor to support this work through our government skills development fund, better training, better jobs with bigger paychecks. We have to break down barriers, celebrate entrepreneurship and success to grow a stronger Ontario. And your success is proof of the power of investing in people and in communities that dare to dream big. Congratulations to Cohort 3 and your graduation. And here's to an even bigger, bolder second year. Enjoy the evening.
All right, judges, ready to go. Next up, we have Yuri Kaplan from Jump Point AI.
everybody, how's everybody doing today? Woo! Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Now I would like to take a moment and ask everybody here a serious question. How do you feel about insurance? Look deep down into your heart and think, how do you feel about insurance? Perhaps it was a quote that was a little bit higher than you wanted it to be. Perhaps it was a quote that took a little too long. Maybe a lengthy application you had to fill out, or a lot of back and forth with your broker. There's a chance your application looks something like this. Well, if you're a commercial insurance client, these can be 10, 20, 30 pages long, and let's face it, no one wants to fill them out. But what you might not know is after you send this application to your broker, they still have to spend on average 20 hours looking through hundreds of pages of policy information, making sure everything's correct. Then they have to shop around for a quote, which means filling out more forms for various carriers. Then they might have to ask you to provide even more information. And then finally, once everything's ready and the policy is ready, they still have to reissue at times hundreds of certificates of insurance. You would think with a vast amount of AI tools on the market today, this annoying process should be solved, right? Well, the challenge is that LLMs are way too agnostic to solve this, and they actually don't have access to this proprietary data. And insurance platforms and agent management systems that do have access to the data leave this information trapped, which prevents true automation and true data intelligence. And they have quite complex interfaces that brokers don't always like to navigate. Meet JumpPoint, simple chat interface that uses specialized AI agents to automate those pesky and annoying tasks for brokers and clients like yourselves. Now imagine your broker is using Ellie, our AI agent aimed at helping you automate those policy applications and policy renewals. Imagine you need new coverage. You ask your broker to provide it. They take your email request, they plug it right into Ellie. Ellie analyzes your request. She looks at all the information the broker already has on file for you and goes ahead and pre-fills the application for you. If any fields are required to be updated, she only sends you those fields, saving you all that time. Then she finds the best quote for you. She sends you that quote while providing recommendations to make sure you always have the best coverage. And is that not what insurance should be all about? Hi, my name is Yuri Kaplan. This is my co-founder, Jerry Chan. Jerry has spent decades in the insurance industry and has seen this problem firsthand from all directions. He was an SVP at one of the largest brokerages in the world. He's built the first billion-dollar insurance program for the custody of cryptocurrency. Me? I've spent years falling in love with problems and solving them through software and AI. And now we're solving this problem for brokers. 60% of their time is wasted on these repetitive and annoying tasks. We want them to focus on clients like you. And there are hundreds of tasks like the one I just demonstrated that brokers deal with on a daily basis. This is a $180 billion problem with 400,000 brokers facing this on a daily basis in US alone. 80% of a broker's time today is spent on operations, and only 20% on growth and servicing clients like you. Well, with JumpPoint, we've flipped that script. We have over 36 agencies excited to use our platform already on our wait list. We charge $2,000 a month, meaning we have $86 million in opportunity in the pipeline today. Our goal is to convert 20% of that in the near term. So we're raising $3 million to scale our product, convert this pipeline, and reach $3 million in ARR. And now I would like to ask everybody here to please take out your phone, scan this QR code. This will put my information right into your phone. And then the next time you talk to your insurance broker, or perhaps an investor you know, you tell them about JumpPoint and help us help brokers help you. Thank you.
Woo!
Well, congrats on all the early traction. I actually love this space. The broker network is reaching retirement, and I think they're going to engage more and more technological tools, so I think your timing's excellent. But the market's obviously, it's really fragmented. There's some large brokers, but there's a lot of small brokers. So I'm trying to think of how you plan to tackle that market. Do you plan to go after the captive agents that as part of the carriers, or the individuals, and how you think about that market segment? Because go-to-market is obviously one of the most expensive things to do. So want to understand how you want to tackle it.
Yeah, of course, Jerry's the king of that.
It's nice to meet everybody. And yeah, so we're basically working with insurance carriers that have a network of independent agencies. So a company like Grange Insurance, Nationwide Insurance, they literally have thousands, tens of thousands of independent agencies that they work with. And they're highly motivated to make them efficient and competitive because that drives ultimately more premium volumes to them. So what's great is that we're able to actually support these insurance agency networks, have a great pipeline through these sort of distributed agencies, and that's really our go-to-market strategy. We're also targeting small to medium property and casualty commercial brokers, but the agency platform is basically what we're going to target first.
Okay, perfect. And just one more. Have you thought about integrating with some of the solutions that brokers are already using, like is one of them like Applied Epic or something like that? Is that?
Yeah, so the incumbents have built these walled gardens to kind of throttle startups from entering into the space. So basically they have these APIs that are very complicated, and what they actually do is, depending on how successful you are, they throttle up or throttle down based on what they want. So it was faster for us actually to build the application, to build an entire platform, than for us to actually even try to figure out how to integrate with them. So yeah, we're going to try to take them out.
It gives us the opportunity to provide more value to. Yeah.
Who's done a really good job in this space as a new entrant? Who would you want to replicate?
Well, we're definitely the first AI operating system for brokers. There's been plenty of different options that tried to come at sort of the Vertifores and Applied Epics of the world through saying, hey, we can be better than manual, we can be digital, but we actually are the very first one in the market to actually think about it from an AI first principles perspective. So yeah, I mean, I would encourage everyone to please search it out and see if there is anything else that we can sort of like benchmark ourselves against. But right now, we're talking about a completely different experience. When we talk about a chat interface built from day one, it's really revolutionary in their eyes. And when we show them the demo, they kind of just almost don't even believe that it's possible.
Great stuff. I was curious to know if you're tempted, and as like I'm super ignorant to the space, unlike Talia, who knows it well. Are you tempted to replace brokers? Like it seemed from the demo, like I would just, as a user who needs insurance, why wouldn't I just go directly through you instead of using a broker to pop my email into the generator?
So right now, our goal is to first make brokers efficient, allowing them to run their ops via prompts. But ultimately, the main goal is to have the system prompt the broker on when it's necessary, which ultimately means there's a autonomous future that's possible. So we talked about the 80-20% that Yuri mentioned in terms of the inversion that we're going to make on the workforce. That's kind of step one. Step two is we get all this proprietary data and this distributed network that we get, where we can actually drive innovation in the marketplace through an embedded marketplace. So think about like an Amazon basic structure where you guys can kind of cherry pick the profitable lines of business, create accessibility to markets that were blocked out in the past through these sort of opaque networks, and actually truly transform the industry from a much broader scale.
Super impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to welcome back Dan with his next interview of the night.
I'm really excited to introduce someone who I've admired for a very long time, who's a brand new MPP. Michelle Cooper, come on up and join me. Congratulations. So you're in a room of innovators and entrepreneurs. You're an entrepreneur yourself. You had an incredible career in the corporate world, and you decided to do something that was very brave and courageous, and we appreciate it. We need more of you in Ontario, in the city, and certainly federally. What motivated you to shift gears from being an entrepreneur to ultimately running for office and representing not only our community, but the people of Eglinton Lawrence?
Okay, well, first off, thank you for having me here. This is one of my first engagements, so this is terrific. I have to first start out and say that you know, I started out in 1994 as in the startup world. I mean, that dates me and it ages me, but I thought this is a wonderful opportunity to be here because First off, as a new MPP, this is a new world for me, and I'm just starting to navigate it. But I think it's my entrepreneurial spirit that is what got me here. I know what it takes to make it. I know what it takes, the hard work that each and every one of you have put in to your companies in getting here. So in 1994, I'm just going to start out by giving you a little bit of history about me. So in 1994, out of university, I started out that I was going to launch a company, and it was a collectible Barbie doll company. I know all of you were laughing, but I got into collector Barbie. It was big in the 90s. I know Barbie's made a comeback. I still have an amazing collection. So in '94, I started this company. It was just out of a sheer passion of mine. And went to a graphic artist. I started out in CompuServe, so that really dates me. So if anybody knows what CompuServe is. So anyway, basically started this company, thought I'd do a color catalog to get it out to all the people on CompuServe. Went to a graphic artist. He had just come back from the US, and he said, I just learned the newest thing called a website. True story. He said, Michelle, for $700, I can make you a website. And I said, hey, let's just go for it. So basically, he made me this website. It was a static website. The technology wasn't there, but I had pictures of the dolls with a US price, a Canadian price, and a 1-800 number. And there my business was launched online. There was no e-stores, there was nothing to click, there was no information about what you put there, and you couldn't change anything. So this launched my business, and my phone rang off the hook. I will tell you, nobody else was on the internet or the information highway at that time, but me. And my business launched. I became this entrepreneur, figuring out how to ship things, how to purchase things, have a store, have this website, and my business was launched. So I've worn all of your hats, but one of the things I didn't have was like a company, like an organization like ChaiTech to help. So I had to navigate these new waters through technological changes, to speed changes, to understanding the customer that was on plugging into the wall jack, the telephone line to get the internet going. So speed became a problem, faced every problem possible. I mean, it's a whole new world now. And all of you are facing different challenges, but I will tell you, stay persistent. Don't let no ever be a bad word to you, because eventually you'll find the solution to get you to yes. And that's why I'm standing here, in the determination to do whatever your dream is.
Thank you very much, Michelle. We really appreciate your leadership. Laura's and Michael's, thank you all for being here with us.
Judges, next up we have Jay Gilbert from Clever Consult.
Every night, when our kids are finally asleep and the long day is done, I go to sleep alone. Where's my wife? She's an endocrinologist who's gone back to her desk till 1 in the morning to review new patient referral packages every day. These referrals come from referring doctors by fax. They're a complete mess to read, with redundant, disorganized, and irrelevant information. And they're really, really long, 50 to 100 pages in length. The specialist must read through the package, find the relevant information, and then manually transcribe that into their consult note template in their EMR. This takes significant after hours and personal time, and it's really, really long. The only way to get it done today is by doing it yourself or paying up to thousands of dollars a month for a physician assistant or office staff to pre-chart. Our team is intimately familiar with this problem, and we're so motivated to solve it. My co-founder, Kyle's a gastroenterologist who's been training humans to do this job for the last 6 years. Our amazing AI developer, Alex, is married to a tired neurologist who faces this problem too. We're building a team of specialty champions across 14 selected specialties, and these folks are excited to shape the product to their exact needs and help us roll it out to the market. 12,500 specialists work in our chosen specialties. But doctors are not our market size. It's the millions of consults that they do every year. 9 million consults are done a year in Canada in these specialties, with the potential for us to save 1.5 million after hours and prep time in clinic. These consults represent $1.4 billion of doctors' earnings. We can automate $1 billion of that and help them make even more with the efficiency. Combining North America, we're staring at a 202,000 specialist, 143 million consult per year opportunity. It is huge. So we set out to build something magical. Clever Consult reads a referral, identifies the relevant information, and drafts the exact note that the doctor needs, leaving a couple sections blank for the visit itself. Like a Swiss watch, our product is incredibly sophisticated on the inside with countless complex components, but on the outside, we create something that's simple, beautiful, and reassuring for the doctor reading it. But behind the scenes, we take all precautions and measures for privacy and legal, being compliant with health data regulations and maintaining a zero data retention policy. We're building a market-leading company in a new category of medtech. AI scribes are helping family doctors with their documentation challenge, but they're not working for specialists. And other AI tools are helping office staff with their tasks. But nobody is focused on the specialist doctor and the pain point they have of sorting new referrals and drafting consult notes. So with this traction and with this focus, we've made amazing traction. We've completed our beta with dozens of users to check our riskiest assumptions. We've launched our product in beta with a dozen very happy users, like Dr. Griller, who said this on her first day using the product. We've tested our pricing, and we've got a wait list of $100,000 worth of revenue ready to be realized. But right now, we're focusing on our customer activation to get someone onboarded quickly and seeing value in their first 10 minutes. And so we're raising a pre-seed round to put our foot on the gas and grow quickly. We'll solidify our team, launch nationally, and hit milestones with this investment of reaching 300 customers and $1 million in ARR in 12 months, which is really lean and capital-efficient growth. I had a minute.
I jumped the gun.
We're at the beginning of our journey to make doctors' lives better. And Clever Consult's just the entry point. We're going to build a pre-visit questionnaire to help get more information earlier, to make our notes even better. We're going to build an AI scribe to make the entire visit hands-free, finishing the sections of the note that we left. And we're going to automate the entire clinic day by supporting follow-up notes, being a full-service toolkit for specialists. With Clever Consult, we are reducing physician burnout, improving the quality of care for you, the patients, and for me, selfishly, making sure I go to bed alone less often. Come on up, Kyle.
I love how your founding team's trying to get their marriage back. That's really nice. I'm not that familiar with this space. You had sort of as a new category of medtech. Can you speak about whether there's any overlap with some of the others and how this actually really is distinct? Like, I know of some of the solutions that help transcribe while the doctor's in flight, right, and in the actual having their session with a patient and take notes post and analyze those notes. And so how this solution actually fits into all those different components.
Yeah, thank you for the question. The AI scribes are becoming really popular. They have that audio transcription and then create a similar version of a note afterwards. The specialist workflow is inverse. They receive the referrals in advance, and Kyle's job as a GI is to know the patient really well before he sees them, which also makes his clinic day much faster. So the ability for us to create 3/4 of the note in advance with the documentation that we receive is very different from taking one data source being an audio transcription.
And have you thought about partnering with any other solutions in market? Like you think about the different solutions that come at a doctor for all the different parts of the journey, before, during, after the session, and how you actually stitch those together?
It's a great question. I'm trying to figure it out myself as the doctor. So some of the solutions, like Jay said, is an AI scribe that will document the clinical encounter. Other things that I use are a dictaphone, which allows you to dictate, which is much faster than typing. There's pre-patient questionnaires, but a lot of these solutions have always been available for all physicians across all categories, and they don't tend to solve the specific pain points that me, myself, and other specialists experience. So the real value in the product is that it's going to be a narrow and deep focus on specialists so that my needs are served and all of our customers' needs are served, because it's not one solution for all.
Awesome. I love the deep domain expertise. There's a great, I sent you the other day, there's a great blog Michelle Moon wrote yesterday or last week about domain expertise is the new moat, the real moat that's out there. So congrats on having tremendous domain expertise. One thing I always worry about with health tech is who's paying. Like is the patient ultimately going to be paying this, or is it the specialist out of their pocket? Where's the money start? And in health tech, that's the start or the end of a company.
Our customer focus, our prime first customers, are community specialists. So unlike a hospital, which would be a long enterprise sale, we're going right to community specialists. They're going to be the buyers. They're going to make the decisions, and part of how we might get to them is speaking with their spouses.
And I can say that the price point, the amount of time I save in a single day using this pays for itself in a monthly subscription. So the value to the end user, both in time or in revenue, if it's revenue, then OHIP's paying. But if it's time, then I get to spend more time with my family. And the choice is up to the specialist. But ultimately, the product is so valuable and so useful that it will pay for itself within a day of use for a 1-month subscription.
Who would be implementing this solution within the offices, and would it be deployed on-prem or as a SaaS solution?
This is currently a SaaS solution, and earlier today I onboarded a customer in 10 minutes. So we meet on a short but white glove virtual Zoom call. We provide them their login details and help them connect to their EMR so they can actually fax us the documents and save our number to their favorites. And then together we watch them experience the product for the first time when they send their consult in, and while we're on the call, it gets done for them. So that's how we're activating very quickly.
Was your wife does your wife use the product, and was she the customer today that you're on a Zoom with? Or?
He never sees his wife. Didn't you see the first slide?
Yeah, that's why I said Zoom. Does she use it?
Our current launch is for gastroenterology.
That's right.
Diane is an endocrinologist, but it was a GI.
He's sleeping alone for now.
Thank you. We're all good. I was like, I think I'm good.
I had to thank Jay for his flawless recovery from my jumping gun. All right. Now next up, we just got some appendix slides to get through here. Look at all that. Jay, you're lingering on stage with your appendices. Now you know why I cut him off a few minutes early. Okay, so next up we have a special moment, and that is our next interview is going to be done by the person who really builds the sense of community on the ground in the program. And whenever there's something that needs to be done, taken care of, rushed around, a hug that's needed, a high five, giving someone a boost during the day, that's our community manager, Dylan Herman, who I think all the cohort here will cheer for. And so we're going to introduce Dylan, and she has a special interview.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to introduce Yulia of Pioneer IP, one of our Cohort 2 Showcase finalists. Yulia, along with her 3 co-founders, is building Pioneer IP, a platform designed to help researchers and startups unlock the full potential of intellectual property. She impressed us all during the last showcase with her vision and execution, and we're thrilled to have her here today to share an update on her journey and offer some advice to our graduating founders. Yulia, it's great to see you. How have things been going for you and the Pioneer IP team since wrapping up the accelerator? And we'd also love to hear about how the community can best support you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dylan. Happy to be back. Thanks for having me here. So first of all, the things have been moving really fast since ChaiTech. We have recently onboarded one of the largest litigation firm in the US. So that's huge. So thank you for the tremendous support. Now we are in conversations with one of the largest Silicon Valley software companies to launch the pilots. So for us, it couldn't be better. We also closed a few more checks from the local business angels, and it really helps us to keep up the momentum. So that's quick update. And yeah, so being in high tech is privilege. As Chris mentioned, you're the heart, one of the hearts of high tech, and we always feel the communities here and all the events. They're so helpful to find the answers if we are lost and find the resources and to support each other. So it's a privilege to be here, and congratulations to all the new fellow founders here.
Thank you, Yulia. And I will pass this back off to Chris.
Thank you both. And now we have our final presentation with Ben Gatton from Triple.
Good afternoon, judges. Good afternoon. My name is Ben, and I'm building Triple, the AI agent for fundraisers. The size of the charitable giving market in the United States is $500 billion. That is not a typo. That is actually how much money nonprofits, colleges, and hospitals receive in donations every single year. But the fundraisers that go after the $500 billion have a big problem. Doing donor research is incredibly manual and ineffective today. It's very difficult to figure out if somebody would be a good potential donor for your fundraising campaign. You need to figure out what their net worth is, if they're charitable, and if they'd consider giving to your organization. As a result, these organizations end up hiring teams and teams of people to figure that out, and it takes a ton of hours. And despite all of this work, fundraisers are still generally talking to the wrong donors, resulting in $50 billion being left on the table. Has there ever been a more perfect solution for AI, not only to increase efficiency, but directly bring in more money to organizations that need it? That's why I built Triple. Triple is the AI agent for fundraisers. Now, fundraisers can say goodbye to doing manual research and hiring teams of people to do this. Now, with just a simple prompt, they can say exactly who they're looking for their campaign and instantly get all of the results that they need for their campaign. With another click, they can prioritize the ones that are best for their particular organization and most likely to give to them. They can collect all of the information they could possibly want to know about a potential donor, things like their net worth, their past philanthropy, and much more. And then they can use these insights to secure more donations. With the current funding crisis that's affecting hospitals and universities all over the world, having a more efficient way to find donors is everything to them. And I'm happy to say we have some incredible traction so far. In just 5 months, we got 10 large organizations on our platform. We've got organizations like the Schulich School of Business, the Children's Miracle Network, and Georgian College. This incredible traction has translated into $60,000 in year-to-date revenue, and we're on a $250,000 annual run rate. The way we've been able to find these customers so fast is with a very creative inbound and outbound strategy. On the outbound side, we're using a ton of AI tools to figure out which hospitals and colleges are currently hiring for prospect researchers, and then we'll send them an email and actually say, you no longer need to hire for this position, you can just use Triple. On the inbound side, we rely heavily on a customer referral program that's bringing in about 20% of our revenue, and that's just happy customers referring other people in the industry to us. We have a premium pricing model, and on average, our service costs $25,000 per year per customer. And while that sounds like a lot, compared to the value of helping customers execute on a $1 million, $10 million, or $100 million fundraising campaign, we're delivering some really incredible ROI. This ROI is also driven by the fact that we are the only AI native company in the market. With our competitors being created in the 90s, even professional prospect researchers struggle to figure out how to use them. Our platform was AI native from the beginning, and as a result, fundraisers don't even need to hire prospect researchers. They can do everything themselves in minutes. And because we're AI first, our platform is actually getting better over time. As we're able to observe what donors donate to which causes, this further improves the insights and the platform for everyone. The reason why I've been able to create this AI advantage is because of our team. And by our team, I just mean me. I'm both the CEO and the CTO. I'm the CEO as an ex-management consultant and second-time B2B SaaS founder. I'm also the CTO as an ex-data scientist and co-author of a published AI paper. And while that was enough to get to a $250,000 run rate, I need your help to make this thing much bigger. That's why I'm seeking $500,000 to get 100 customers and hit $2.5 million in ARR. We're going to build a full suite of services to help fundraisers raise more money. We're not only going to help them identify donors, we're going to help them engage them, close them, and ultimately turn them into repeat supporters. So who's ready to transform the future of fundraising with AI? Thank you.
Amazing energy. You brought it. Two quick questions. I hate to hog question time, but one, I'm always curious, sole founder versus a team, or that $500K, are you planning on bringing some co-founders on, or are you going to do this sole mission? And totally separate question, separate topic. It's pretty amazing data that you have access to. Where's the data from, and how will you protect that data from me? I'm not any of those things that you are, but if I could find someone to build something similar.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I'll start with the team question first. Right now, I'm a solo founder. If I found the right co-founder, potentially, might bring them along. The $500,000 is to hire somebody for like the sales side and then also for the software engineering side. It's just too difficult to do everything alone. And if they contribute enough value, like, we'd definitely bring them on as a co-founder. On the question about what's like proprietary and what's public, it's about 50-50 right now. On the public side, we're using things like annual reports to figure out like who have you donated to in the past, if you're a major gift donor. The problem with that is that just focuses on the really rich people that everybody has access to and everybody knows. In fact, they're all over this building. But we also have proprietary data sets to help us get kind of like the long tail of small to medium-sized donors. And we pulled together like over a dozen different proprietary sources too. Stuff like real estate holdings, what your annual salary is, and some other personal information.
Cool, thank you.
For the $25,000 ACV, why is that the ACV you landed with? And are you thinking about gatekeeping, like each contact line by line, kind of like what ZoomInfo does by selling it through credits?
Yeah, that's a good question. To be very honest, our pricing model has just been driven mostly by trial and error. In fact, we started this off as a service to validate the market first, and that lent itself more to a per project pricing. So when we transferred more to a SaaS model, we kind of just carried over the pricing. The $25,000 comes from, on average, we charge $6,000 per fundraising campaign, and over the course of a year, our customers will have 4 big campaigns, and they'll use us for each of them. And so like the $25,000 is based on how many campaigns that they do.
You covered a lot of ground. I don't have a ton of questions other than what was your previous startup and how did it end?
Thank you. That's a good question. I built a B2B SaaS company that was in the sales tech space, similar to 11x.ai or an Apollo. The problem with that space is it's just like brutally competitive. We raised a little bit of money, but to compete in that space properly, you need like $100 million plus in funding. That said though, that business is kind of what led us to this. We had colleges reach out to us and say, hey, we love what you're doing. This would be really great to find donors. And I didn't even think about that market before. And then I worked with one college to develop this specifically for them, and they brought me to a bunch of other colleges, and that's how we got our early traction. And so basically, I went from a situation where I was doing these sales calls with companies to sell my sales tech software, and they were all like, how are you different than these 12 companies? And then I went over to this space, and they're like, nobody has done this before, this is really great. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna choose that space.
Nice, thank you.
All right, so let's wish good luck to all our finalists tonight. You did a great job. We're going to have the judges. Roshni from our team is going to take the judges to the back room so they can get ready and do their review. And we'll make sure they're back out on time. We have some more stuff to happen here now. One good thing I'd like to tell all of you is that you may be interested in potentially investing in one of these companies yourself. And Dan's been working on setting something up called the ChaiTech Angel Network. And last month we had some great presentations, and everybody came in online over lunchtime and looked at the companies. So whether you're a VC here that's here tonight, I know there's 2 representatives of the Ontario Centre for Innovation looking for companies here tonight. But if you're an accredited investor, you might want to sign up for the Angel Network. If you don't know if you're an accredited investor, come see me and I'll ask you all kinds of questions about your bank account. Okay, next up, we have, it's my honor to introduce a dear friend of the program, the province of Ontario, and the Jewish community, and someone who every time that he speaks, whether it's at our high-tech breakfast or here on stage, I just can't help but just be held in thrall from how he talks about the way he believes in the province and the community and all the people that he represents. As we look out in the world today in terms of like many ways of behaving and interpreting politics, I always appreciate how Michael Kersner brings himself and his values to the table, and he's here to make a special announcement.
It's great to be here. It's great to be back. In fact, I don't think I've missed one of these incredible award ceremonies. I want to say also how much I appreciate being joined by my colleagues, Laura Smith and Michelle Cooper. But I have a very special announcement, and then I'm going to say a couple words. I am pleased to say that the Government of Ontario, through the Skills Development Fund, will be renewing funding for this incredible project, ChaiTech, with a $2 million investment. Congratulations, Daniel and Andrew. And as I like to say, this has been itself such an amazing experience to see entrepreneurs, to see Jewish entrepreneurs come forward. So let me share just a couple of words about 2 things. Number 1, the times that find us. And number 2, why I think it's so important that we have supporters like the Government of Ontario and Schulich and Prosserman JCC, especially now that fosters entrepreneurship. Well, firstly, the times that find us are really unbelievable, especially that the threat of US tariffs are actually coming to pass. You have to go back to the War of 1812 to find the last conflict that Canada had with its best friend. And through generations, we have come to admire the resolve of the US to find ourselves always in the best of friendship with them. And however things went in our history through wars and conflicts and all sorts of world events, we were always right beside each other. There were no better friends than Canada and the US. But the times that find us are serious. The US has tested us. They want to break us, but they've underestimated us. Earlier this evening, I was with the Premier at an event in the community, and I listened carefully to what he had to say. We're not going to roll over. We're not going to close up shop just because that's what the Americans want us to do. And we can't play Russian roulette with our businesses that invested not only the human capital, but the financial capital to set up companies, to hire good workers, so that the workers could simply raise their families and see their kids off to school and shop in the community and play in the park and pray. We can't accept the status quo. And Premier Ford says that we're going to fight like never before. We're going to do everything we can to reimagine our Ontario. And just this week alone, I've had an opportunity to go from Orillia to Niagara and to Hamilton and all over, meeting not only with businesses, but our firefighters and our police officers, our first responders. Today I had a meeting with Barb Collins, the CEO of our incredible Humber Hospital on Wilson Avenue, itself a center of digital excellence and care that has no equal. There is nothing that Ontario can't make. There is nothing that Ontario can't produce. We have to be prepared to reinvent ourselves and to look forward. And I've asked my stakeholders to give me a list of every single product that we are currently reliant on the US, so that we can bring it to people like yourselves and manufacturers and generational businesses that have come together to help build Ontario. What President Trump doesn't understand is there's 40 million Canadians that have been bound together with a sense of pride that we have never had, that we've never had a chance to express. And thanks to Premier Ford, especially now, especially while we're in the thrust of so many world events, Premier Ford understands that we will stay together, that we will find solutions to the problems that we are being confronted with unnecessarily by the US, that we will do everything that we can to protect everything that we've built, because we believe in our province and we believe in entrepreneurship. So we're going to keep going, and I'm thankful that Michelle and Laura and I have a front row seat to make sure that our voices will be heard, to stand right alongside our Premier in defense of everything that's great in our province and in our country. And that's the first thing. But the second thing I want to speak about is about entrepreneurship, and why this program, this ChaiTech Accelerator in partnership with Prosserman and Schulich, is paving the way. It has set the bar so high that other communities are looking at it. You know, when Daniel came to see me and pitched this idea, it was in part to the response of October the 7th that the Jewish community, who's been in our country for such a long time, that earned its place on the fabric, on the quilt of Ontario, we built it, but we didn't build it just for ourselves. We built it for everyone. Tonight is an example of just how we are doing it again. We are reinventing Ontario by the success of this program. And as a serial entrepreneur myself, Michelle told her story. I'll save mine for another opportunity. But I can tell you this, there isn't one day that I can't go into my office and look at the files of government and ask ourselves, how can we get things done? How can we be respectful to the taxpayers' money? How can we do it quicker and cheaper and faster and more efficiently? So what you're doing here today is setting the stage that Ontario, that Canada, will be not only Canada strong and Ontario strong, but we will be Ontario proud, we will be Canada proud. And I'm just delighted to have made the announcement that we'll be with you, Daniel. It's a great pleasure to introduce, thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker tonight, Edward Kolodenko. I had the privilege of meeting Edward a couple of years ago not understanding then the impact he made in transforming Canadian business on the financial side. As the founder of Questrade, Edward, almost 25 years ago, you saw things that nobody was able to see. That's entrepreneurship. And you were able to execute a plan to build Questrade into one of the most respected companies in Canada. Edward, you're easy to like, you're easy to listen to, and you've always given me such sound advice. And I know your words tonight will help send a message that we can bring our not only our expertise and our passion, but our faith with us along on this journey. So please join me on stage if I may ask you for just a minute. I'll have a presentation for you too. Edward, in recognition of the occasion of the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III, which was held on May the 6th, 2023, and to commemorate the King's coronation flag-raising ceremony, 21-gun salute and drum circle held at Queen's Park on that day, and in recognition of your significant contribution to our community and to our province, it's my honor and privilege to present this coronation pin to you with distinction, a visionary, innovator, and entrepreneur, as someone that has imagined how the future can be seen today. You have inspired others to not only believe in themselves, but believe in our province. Oh, you got that. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Daniel.
Michael, Laura, Michelle, also Stephen, David, just a huge thank you to all of you and to Premier Ford for your continued faith in the Ontario Jewish Startup Network and the ChaiTech Accelerator. It's really humbling, and we can't wait to help another 150 founders, God willing, so thank you.
And thank you all for being here tonight. This was a surprise, Michael. Thank you. Thank you to Premier Ford. And we're so happy to have you for another term. You're doing so much for our community and for Ontario as a whole, and so thank you.
Yasher Koach, congratulations. We're so happy to have you here.
Thanks, Dan.
So we've gotten to know each other a little bit through Michael, through our mutual friend Avi Glina, and I just want to say how humbling it is to have you up here on stage, not only as a proud Jewish leader, but as one of my favorite Canadian entrepreneurs. This fireside chat is really to learn a bit more about you as much as Questrade. And I love the ads, by the way. I don't say that often. My wife laughs because I watch advertisements. It's odd, but I really like yours. They really hit home. When you came to Canada, can you tell us a bit about what motivated that and what your earlier years were like and what got you onto the track of entrepreneurship?
So I came to Canada as a 6-year-old boy. I was born in the Soviet Union. And so when we came as refugees. In fact, the landing papers that I found not long ago in the box that says citizenship says stateless. And so back in those days, you know, we applied and we came completely legal. I just want to make sure that's on the record. So we came. We were new to Canada. It was me, my parents, and a suitcase. My dad literally had $50 in his pocket. We started from nothing, and so this country has given me and my family everything that we've managed to achieve, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to live here. We live in one of the best places, the best place in the world, here in Canada, in Ontario, and we're blessed with a beautiful Jewish community. There's so much that we can do.
Amen. When you started Questrade, tell us a bit about the origin. You know, mission, vision, values is really so critical for an organization, and not only do you have great ads and very happy customers, you have one of the best places in Canada to work. So maybe you can tell us about, you know, what inspired you and motivated you early on to ultimately achieve such great success.
Great questions. So in Judaism, everything that we drive, you bring everything. My philosophy is that they're not two different things. My Judaism, you see who I am. It's very obvious by the way that I look in every meeting that I go to. My tzitzis are out, my kippah's on my head, this beard is not going anywhere. And so you bring your philosophy into everything that you do. And you're asking about our mission. Our mission is that we care deeply about helping Canadians to become much more financially successful and secure. That's the mission. And you learn that early on that you get more by giving. And so the more, business is all about helping people. The more that you can help, and there's lots of young entrepreneurs here in the crowd, and it's really amazing to watch some of the presentations that are here. And they're all really, what are they doing? They're all trying to help others do better, help others solve a really, really big problem that they have, and in return, they'll be thankful for them with their business. That's all a business in a nutshell. And so if you focus on that, then the results will come.
Building a company can be incredibly rewarding, but also difficult and taxing. I burnt out 3 times. It's certainly difficult and lonely, and that's why we built this community in part, is to make sure that no one feels alone. Can you share a bit about a difficult time or times that you experienced as a CEO of a high-growth company, and how your faith helped you evaluate and ultimately overcome a big challenge?
Being a founder is a lonely place. You're going to, or you do face everyday naysayers will tell you you're crazy. You're crazy for doing what you're doing, because in their eyes, you're taking unconscionable risk. You're taking risk that in their eyes, they would never, ever do. But if you really believe in what you're doing, you really have to stick to it. And you can't let it sidetrack you. You can't let it get you down. If you believe in what you're doing, you have to keep doing it. You know, there are so many stories. There are so many stories, so many near-death experiences that we had. I mean, even when we just started, we opened the doors. Literally, it was 2001. It was we got our license in 2001, and then we did our first trade at Quest Trade in June of that year. And then just 2 months later, 3 months later, we get hit with 9/11. And 9/11 crashes. Of course, everyone saw the World Trade Center. The stock market was closed for a week. We just imagine opening a store and you know COVID hits and you can't have any customers. No customers can walk in. So we had that a few years ago. Some of us experienced that as well. But trading was good, thank God. Trading was good. But that was a near-death experience, and all along that way, several things happened. We had to pivot the business model. The business model was originally made for day traders, and I heard someone here earlier mention how the internet was very slow. You had to take your phone and you had to plug it into your computer, and you had to wait. You had to wait for the modem to dial up. You would have your 50 free hours on the CD. Most of you are probably too young to remember that, but some of us remember.
Michelle does. She told us about it.
Exactly. There were painful times, and you could imagine how painful it is if you want to trade on the stock market. You can't get real-time quotes. And so the original business model for the business was we were landlocked. We had to be in an office, because that was the only way you could get high-speed lines was into an office. And then you could get a cable at home. So all of a sudden, the business changed, and we had to pivot the business to being an internet business. And a whole lot of things happened along the way, and we got very little time here to go through that whole story.
We're going to have you back. That's clear.
Gladly.
With regards to rejection, you mentioned some things that are outside of your control, and there's many things that are outside of our control. As a successful founder who dealt with 9/11 and COVID and many other challenges, how do you center yourself to make sure that you are consistently in a good place for your own mental health, but also for your family and ultimately your scaling team?
It's really important. It's really important to make sure that you're mentally healthy and physically and in every way healthy and spiritually. And so the way that I personally take care of that, and again, this may not work for everyone, but this is how I do it, and I can only tell you how I do it. The most important thing is the family. The family is the most important thing. If you have a mess at home, I always tell people, if you have a mess at home, you will have a mess at work. And so you got to make sure that you put family first. You can't focus all your business, all your time on your business. Can't focus all your energy on your business. You can't neglect your wife or your spouse, and you can't neglect your children. That's number one. You always have to make sure that you make time for that. So how do you do that? You have to make sure that you're home at a normal hour, that you can at least make it in time to spend some time with your wife, maybe at dinner, and put your children to bed. Read them a story, give them a bath, spend some time, especially when they're little. That's the most precious time. When they get older, they don't want to spend any time with you. So, but make sure that when they're little, at least you get that. At least you get that. I always say that up until about 12 or 13, they listen to you, and they're you're the apple of their eye. And then puberty hits in, and with every passing day, it diminishes.
I can't wait. We've had some really remarkable people.
Comes back though later. Don't worry.
What age? Just so I know.
20s? After teenagers.
After teenagers. I think we need a parent accelerator. That might be another idea. I would sign up for it. We've had some really remarkable people on this stage. We have Waze co-founder Uri Levine. We've had Heather Reisman, the founder of Indigo. We've had a fellow fintech innovator like yourself, Michael Katchen from Wealthsimple. And each of you blend your pride in being Canadian and your pride of being Jewish day in, day out. And you just mentioned that, and Michael mentions it in every remark, that we're builders, we're creators, we like to help meaningfully. Tell us a little bit about what you envision as our role moving forward in a country that seems more challenging, not only to our community immensely, but there's rising anti-Semitism and hate all around. What can we all do to try to make our community, our province, our country a more inclusive, supportive, encouraging place to live?
Look, we can't control what other people say, how other people think and what they do. All we can do is control what we do and how we react. And I would say that the more pride we show in our community, in our Jewishness, not hide, not take not hide religious symbols, not put your Magen David inside your shirt, or take your kippah off when you go to work. The more pride that we can show, and the more that we stand together, the better off we are. We just have to go about our business. Don't worry about all the noise. That's all just noise. It doesn't matter. God's in charge, and we have to do our thing. That's all we have to do.
What is something that you know now, it's very second nature, that you wished you knew in your first several years of building Quest Trade?
What I wish that I would know, I would do everything that I did. I'd just do it faster, because you have to learn, and unless you learn, unless you do it quicker, you're not going to be able to move yourself forward. But you always have to be challenging yourself. You always have to be at a place where you feel just a little bit uncomfortable, because if you're feeling too comfortable, you're not really moving anywhere. You always have to be pushing yourself and those around you into a very uncomfortable spot, but you have to do it delicately, because not everybody's going to be as comfortable moving at your speed. You might break something.
So how do you do that as a high-growth startup when you're trying to stabilize, but you're also trying to achieve, and you're always living in that, as you just described, that place of discomfort, where you're pushing boundaries and you're trying to really out-muscle, out-hustle everyone while also maintaining continuity and adherence to those values, as we mentioned earlier?
As you scale, you have to change how you manage. When we first started, I was just joking. I was joking with the team. earlier on, someone was saying, well, you know, whenever we need some IT help, you tell us, you know, you turn around and you do that. So, well, you know, when I first started Equestrade, there was just a handful of us, and so I used to climb under the desks and plug the cables in and put the monitors into the computer and restart the server. The server actually for the whole company was in my office. And so back in the old days when Windows used to crash, it crashes a lot less now, but back then you used to get the nice blue screen. You'd have to reboot the computer, and that was all in my office. So you evolve from that. Now I don't really go anywhere near all of that stuff. You have to make sure that you delegate things, and because you can't do everything yourself. And so as the business scales, you have to change yourself, and you constantly have to be challenging yourself. Are you doing the best? Are you getting the most out of yourself, out of your own capability? Are you maximizing your own talents? That's always a challenge. And then you have to see how you can do that with others. Getting the right people in the right places is probably one of the biggest challenges that you'll ever face as a founder.
Can you tell us how you overcome that as a founder?
It's constantly evolving, because if you're constantly pushing people beyond their boundaries, at some point someone is going to break. And it's unfortunate, but you can't stop the bus because you've got everybody on it. So you make a quick stop, you let somebody off, you bring somebody on who can take you to the next bus stop. And so there's going to be levels, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but some people just aren't happy doing that, and that's better for them.
What are some of the characteristics in the people that do fit that mold that you described that can help you scale as quickly as you can and build that continuity in your organization?
People that really care. They really, really care about the customers, about the organization, about the people inside the organization, about the mission. The ones that really care find a way to do it. They're always the ones that are there, and you really find out who your friends are, you know, when times get tough. And there aren't, you know, nothing's on a straight line. You're going to have your ups and downs. And so you really figure out when things get tough, who has the mettle to withstand.
How do you support those people as you're on this vertical growth journey?
It's always a team sport. It's always a team sport. If you want to grow and if you want to scale, again, you have to make sure you've got the right people in the right seats. And so you've got to encourage them, but you've got to prod them further, and you have to acknowledge the difficulties, because there are always going to be difficulties. You have to acknowledge them, and you have to make them feel like they're supported, that they can come to you with their issues, and you can solve them. Sometimes there's issues inside the org, and so you got to get everybody together in a room and say, okay, let's solve this together. Let's figure it out.
What sort of habits have you built over time to make sure that you continuously improve? I remember seeing that a VC, I think it was stateside, say that a founder shouldn't even recognize themselves every 2 years, whether that's true or not. But at the end of the day, you have to outgrow your company as a founder. What are some of the habits or initiatives that you've done to be able to ensure that you continue to scale yourself as a founder, as a leader, as a CEO? You're at $60 billion annually now, if I'm not mistaken, which is remarkable.
In assets, yes.
In assets, yes. What are some of the, what's the scaffolding? What's the daily routine that helps you ensure that you can continue to show up as best as you can for your family, for your company, and for your community as you do?
So my daily routine is, I worked it out. We talked about the family. That's how the day starts. And in Judaism, the day starts the night before. So that's how the day starts. Then in order to get up in the morning early, you got to make sure you go to bed on time. That's another trick that you'll learn. I get up at 5:20, and I head over to the synagogue for an early shiur, a morning lesson. And then after the morning lesson, we'll go to the ritual mikveh to prepare for prayer, and then we start the prayer. We finish up prayer at around 8, and then I head home, have something to eat or something to drink, and I head over, get a workout in, and then I go to the office. So you got to take care of your family first, the night before. In the morning, you got to take care of yourself spiritually with some learning and prayer, and then you got to take care of yourself physically with exercise so you don't fall apart. And then you set the rest of the day for work. The rest of the day is for work. you're ready to do it, and you're going to be your best self when you, and again, this is my routine, so I don't know that it works for everybody.
We had some incredibly competitive pitches tonight. Our judges aren't even back. This has never happened.
No. They're in the front row.
Oh, they are. Where are they? Oh, hey, guys. It's bright up here.
I'm being too slow.
Yeah. Maybe one last question. What advice do you have for the founders in our program in terms of, connection to community, country, and each other?
So in terms of connection to community, country, and each other, again, remember your roots. You're here to be a light unto the nations. So be proud of who you are, and that'll connect all of us together. All of us together are in it. This is one community. Something hurts in one place, it'll hurt in another. So someone's happy in one place, it's all of our happiness. And so let's hope that we have more things to celebrate together. And as we do that, then we get through it together. And like I said, all the other stuff is noise. It's noise. They can do whatever they want, but remember that God is in charge. Yeah, and you've got a mission. You've got your own mission, your own unique mission that you need to do. You just make sure that you are your best self, that you can use all the talents that the one above gave you to their max without wasting anything. Because if you don't use it all up, it's a waste. So don't waste anything.
Thank you so much. Mazel tov on your honor, and thank you for being here with us today.
Fantastic to be here with all you tonight. Thank you.
Bring them home.
All right, it's time for the awards. And first up, and you can cheer for it just as loudly as you did the first time, it's time for Dylan to come back and do the Uri Levine Customer Discovery Award.
After an intensive 3-day crash course with Uri Levine during the accelerator, where he stressed the importance of falling in love with the problem, not the solution, and with the support of Marie Chevrier-Schwartz and Rob Kennedy, we launched the Customer Discovery Challenge. This challenge pushed the founders to go beyond assumptions and truly immerse themselves in their customers' realities. We didn't just ask them to validate ideas, we challenged them to uncover the truth through 40 real conversations, not surveys, not pitches, but deep, meaningful discussions. Founders explored the frustrations, motivations, and unmet needs of their target users. Tonight, we're excited to recognize the winners of the Uri Levine Customer Discovery Award, Brandon Richmond and Matthew Eisen of Wago. Brandon and Matthew went above and beyond, completing 45 customer discovery interviews, demonstrating an incredible commitment to building a solution that truly aligns with our market's needs. A huge shout out to everyone else who took part in this challenge. These insights will be game changers for your startups. Another round of applause.
All right, now the moment you've been waiting for, which is the champion for the third cohort. And we're going to give a shout out first to the prize donors and sponsors tonight. Ready, Set, Go and Oziel Law, Mark and Alan, maybe stand up if you're there, give a wave. Our cash prize sponsors, thank you. $10,000 in cash and services, $5,000 in cash, and then this amazing in-kind service package from our other partners, Prosh and Tally and Inflective as well too. So it's time for Talia to come to the stage and to make the announcement and introduce us to our champion.
Okie doke. So it's a real honor to be here at a Jewish Canadian pitch competition. It's my first time here at the main stage. I guess I've been promoted from the demo day, much to Neil's dismay. I get to announce the winner today. I have been told there are 350 people in this room with a 100 people on a wait list and a number of people zoomed in. So I can imagine this has grown quite a bit over time. So huge congratulations to Chris and Daniel for everything that you guys have built. It's a really, really special event where innovation meets community values, and like the energy in this room and at the demo days that I've been at previously is honestly just electric. I can imagine that on Wednesdays this place just lights up. So tonight we witnessed 5 amazing pitches together. They all embodied creativity, determination, grit of entrepreneurs really looking to reshape industries. But more than that, they also showed us an element of tikkun olam, which means repairing the world in areas of fundraising, in enabling health outcomes and things like that. So huge, huge kudos to all of you. It was a very, very hard decision. There's some punching gloves out in the room, but after careful deliberation, well, maybe I should give a shout out first. Shout out first to the runner-up. Okay, we'll do a bit of a runner-up. Triple runner-up. Amazing job. But the winner that we had to go with, I mean, we didn't know that you were just going to win a Customer Discovery Award, but Wago, Brandon and Matt, congratulations. Woo! Saved that for the end. I didn't realize it was just going to like disrupt the whole flow of what I was saying. But I just really wanted to commend everybody else. You know, you're building businesses, and business builders are really like the cornerstone of our economy. So, you know, we've all heard of the productivity challenge in Canada, and I really think that as entrepreneurs, you guys are, you know, moving the needle on that front. But to everybody else in the room who's not business building but has a platform to assist these companies, whether it's through capital or being a reference customer for them, I encourage you to do that. It really is a hard-moving ship to get this thing off the ground, and every little bit helps. So thanks again to everybody, and thanks for having me.
Wago, where you go. Get back up here, please. You have to say your few words, please.
Hello. It's so bright. Wow. Thank you, everyone. This has been an incredible experience. ChaiTech has been awesome. Through the mentors that we've gotten through the classes that Brandon has gone to more of them than I have.
He's been busy coding, guys, not because he wasn't available.
But no, it's been a great program. We've met a lot of really amazing people. We've done a few other accelerator programs as well, and the vibes are just not the same. There isn't the same level of community that we have felt.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for everyone in our cohort who believed in us, always gave good graces. I know I was a little nervous going up, and every single one of you helped me out to get on stage and pitch. I want to thank everyone who's supporting us in the crowd. I love you all. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm on top of the world right now.
And also, last thing is a round of applause for all the other pitches, because they were all incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This is my favorite one yet. This is amazing. The ruach in the room is amazing. We had some great news in terms of our year 2 renewal from the government. We had Edward on stage covering multiple really meaningful topics for all of us. It's always fun hanging out with you, Chris, and Andrew, and the whole team.
Andrew said I was a Muppet, which was my childhood mission, so thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, we can relate to that example. We'll just sit in the back. Dylan, you're in charge with Marie next time. And just with the team, like, you know, we only go as far as our team will allow us, and as Edward said, our team really cares about each other, about our founders, our instructors, our EIRs, everyone we meet here at the JCC. You can really feel the energy in this place. Andrew, we might need a bigger parking lot, or at least a concierge. And big thank you to all of our sponsors. We have a number of really incredible companies here like Coco Vaca, the Balloon Artist, Your Own Eni, and Eisenberg's. I'm not sure if Boaz is in the room, but Boaz feeds our founders every week, and we all really appreciate it. And Boaz, thanks for the hat today. I like wearing other companies' swag. And our partners at Shutterbee, who videotape everything. They take photos, videos. They really bring it to life. And we cannot wait to see all of you at our next one. TBD on the date. But we certainly are excited about opening up our spring applications. If you know of a Jewish founder who's based in Ontario, who's building something amazing, make a shidduch. We'd love to meet them. We're here to help. As of now, all 300 of you are too. So thank you very much for being with us here this evening. It means a lot to me, Chris, our partners at the JCC. Thank you to the Ontario government, Edward, the judges, all of our finalists, our Wago friends, and all 50 of you. You guys did an amazing job. And please head outside, enjoy, meet everybody in our startup alley. Every single person is doing something impactful, and let's support them as a community as best we can. Thank you.
All right, let's get out there and have some fun and make some new friends.
Good job.
That was your best ever.
Thanks. I'm exhausted.